What do cattle, shells, metal coins, leather, and paper have in common? You guessed it. They are all forms of currency that the world has seen throughout our monetary history. And today, we're going to be discussing an exciting topic. Will Bitcoin become the next global currency? Before we get into it, let's discuss what a global currency is by definition. A global currency is one that is used and accepted around the world, just like the US dollar is today. It's a currency that's not tied to any specific country or region, and it's utilized for international trade and transactions. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin. It's a digital currency that was first introduced back in January 3rd of 2009. It's decentralized, which means it's not controlled by any financial institution, country, or government. Instead, it's managed by a network of users who use complex algorithms to validate transactions and maintain the security of the network. So, the big question is, will Bitcoin become the next global currency? Andrew here, and thank you for stopping by. There are certainly some factors that do suggest Bitcoin could knock off the US dollar as the world's top currency. Let's take a look at some of those factors and some of the challenges the crypto coin is going to face in order to become the global top dog. Now, one of the main advantages that Bitcoin has as a global currency is that it is borderless. Because it is a digital currency, it can be easily transferred between countries across borders without any kind of restrictions or limitations. This is in direct contrast to traditional currencies, which often face regulations, exchange rate fees, or any kind of delays in processing that can make international transactions more difficult. Another advantage of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. Because it's not controlled by a single entity or government, it's not subject to the same political or economic forces that can affect traditional currencies. This inherently makes it more stable and less susceptible to inflation or devaluation. Additionally, Bitcoin is secure. Transactions on the Bitcoin network, known as the blockchain, are encrypted and verified by a network of users, which makes it difficult for fraud or hacking to ever occur. And finally, Bitcoin has a finite supply. This means there will ever only be 21 million Bitcoin in existence, which means that it is not subject to the kind of inflation that can occur with a traditional currency that can be manipulated. This makes it an attractive asset for those looking for a store of wealth and a stable kind of return on their investment. And even with all these positives that we've listed so far, there are a number of challenges that Bitcoin will need to overcome in order to be truly global. One of the biggest being widespread adoption. In order for Bitcoin to become a global currency, it will need to be widely accepted around the world. And while it has gained some traction in recent years, it's still not widely accepted enough as a form of payment, particularly with brick and mortar stores. This is partly due to the fact that it's still not well understood by everyday people, and there is a lack of infrastructure in place for the everyday person to facilitate its use. Another challenge is regulation. Because Bitcoin is decentralized, which is a positive, it is also not subject to the same kinds of regulation as traditional currencies are. This can make it harder to monitor and control, which can make governments and financial institutions wary of it. In order for Bitcoin to become a global currency, it will need to find a way to balance the benefits of decentralization with the need for regulation and proper oversight. There's also the issue of volatility. The value of Bitcoin has been known to fluctuate quite significantly, I might add, which can be off-putting to potential users. Ultimately, I believe there will come a point when the current global currency, the US dollar, forces Bitcoin's hand. What I mean by this is that our current economic system is built on piles and piles of debt, doing nothing but growing. Eventually, it appears that we're headed deeper and deeper into a debt spiral, which could ultimately lead to the devaluing of the US dollar and by therefore the global economy. And it's out of this catastrophic event that I believe Bitcoin will be positioned well to come in and save the day and replace the US dollar as the new global currency. And out of the ashes of this catastrophic type of event, I think Bitcoin will be well positioned to come in and save the day, and some of the current limitations will be thrown to the wayside when people look for an asset that holds value very well, is borderless, and can be custodied by each individual user. So I say it happens, and I don't know where and I don't know when, but that's what my money's banking on. How about you? Do you think Bitcoin will become the next global currency? Leave a comment and let me know. And if you want to know more about how the current global economic system works, check out this video right here. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe if you got some value, and I will see you on the next one.